All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily. My name is Aaron. Bitcoin, where it is at today at $23,000. I know we are near the highest that Bitcoin has ever been, but where we are today, Bitcoin is undervalued. Stay tuned for the next 3 tabs. I'm going to prove this to you. By no uncertain terms, I'm going to prove this to you. Also, Ethereum, I think, is undervalued, and 10 Ethereum charts that already hit all-time highs show a bullish future for Ethereum. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the whole market. So if you're here with us on Christmas Eve, let us know in the comments. Say Merry Christmas, say Happy New Year, whatever your thing is, give the video a like, and let's talk about this. Now, before we get to the hard data and metrics, consider this. And I know I keep saying this. I think most people still have bear market mentalities, still thinking about Bitcoin how it was in 2018 or 2019 or early 2020, when in reality, we could not be in a more opposite position. And again, something to consider in the bear markets, it took a lot of time for Bitcoin to reach that next level of price. A lot of time, a lot of consolidation. After Bitcoin bursts through all-time highs like we have done, take a look at any bull market in the past, and the time it takes for Bitcoin to get to that next level is a lot shorter. Now, definitely, I'm not saying be prepared for 30, 40% pullbacks. Be prepared for months of consolidation, a time consolidation. I'm not saying that's not going to happen. I'm saying in the long term, Bitcoin at $23,000 is incredibly undervalued. Let's talk about it. Bitcoin is in a supply and liquidity crisis. We continue to point this out on this channel, and this is extremely bullish and highly underrated. I believe that we will see this significantly reflected in Bitcoin's price in the upcoming months. Let's take a look at the data. Let's talk about accumulation balance. These are addresses that have only received Bitcoin and never spent Bitcoin. These are true hodlers. The amount of Bitcoin held in accumulation addresses is 2.7 million Bitcoin. These true hodlers are hoarding 14.5% of Bitcoin's circulating supply. That's a lot. Think about that. Maybe that's you, maybe that's me. It is me. Lost coins. 21 million Bitcoins, you wish. That's just the hard cap. Consider the lost coins. The real number is much less. Nobody knows for sure how many are gone, but estimates point to at least 3 million. Again, consider the fact that in Bitcoin's first 10 years, even going back to the last cycle, there was a lot of uncertainty whether Bitcoin had a future. This cycle, the perception has changed. People are hoarding and hodling and securing their Bitcoin safely than ever before. But in the past, there was a lot of coins that were lost. So nobody knows for sure how many, but estimations point to at least 3 million. That's 16% less circulating Bitcoin available. So again, consider that. Institutional demand. This was the big thing for 2020. The institutions are officially here. People used to dream about it. Now it's reality. Grayscale, pretty much every day, is buying Bitcoin. More than the new Bitcoin being mined onto the market, they're buying alone more than that. And they're also buying Ethereum, Litecoin, Zcash, a whole bunch of other cryptocurrencies, but definitely Bitcoin. MicroStrategy now holds over $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. MicroStrategy and Square Crypto leading the charge for publicly traded companies to put Bitcoin on their balance sheet, right? And Square Crypto is, Jack Dorsey's company. Ruffer has a lot of Bitcoin. Mass Mutual, over $100 million worth of Bitcoin, all buying up supply. Do you really think they are alone? Of course not. Expect many more on the move. They are coming gradually, then suddenly. Speaking of Grayscale, Bitcoin added to the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust in the past 6 months is 210,000 Bitcoin. Bitcoins mined in the past 6 months is 185,000 Bitcoin. That's right. Grayscale has been buying up more Bitcoins than the amount issued. Talk about a supply crisis. Let's talk about exchange balances, because Bitcoin leaving exchanges to this degree is something that is new. It's unprecedented. We've never seen Bitcoin leaving exchanges to this degree before. Liquidity is vanishing from exchanges. We're seeing the longest depletion of exchange funds. Since January, the Bitcoin supply on exchanges dropped a staggering 20%. Bitcoin is being pulled to long-term storage custodian wallets. Liquid Bitcoin supply. So the amount of Bitcoin supply that's actually liquid, that's actually on the market. 14.4 million Bitcoin is held by illiquid entities. That's 78% of the current supply. Think about that. If you don't know, illiquid entities in this case spend less than 25% of the Bitcoin that they receive, acting as supply sinks in the network. So these are people that rarely sell their Bitcoin, probably just locking in some profits so they can hodl for the long term. Yes, only 12% of the Bitcoin supply is liquid, according to this metric. Bitcoin miner supply. Are miners cashing out at these prices? I don't think so. The amount of miner unspent supply, so Bitcoin that has never left the miners' addresses, has been increasing since the last halving. Current miner balances is 1.7 million. Miners are hodling their Bitcoin because they expect higher prices. Let's talk about Plan B's stock-to-flow model. Now, there is question. I mean, here's the thing. What you got to understand about stock-to-flow, this is a real metric. This is a real metric to measure gold, to measure silver, commodities. It can be applied to Bitcoin. It's definitely valuable. There is some question whether the specific model by Plan B himself is statistically significant. But for this segment, we'll just assume that it is. It's been surprising this year that the price has stayed with the stock-to-flow model. Now, how does it compare exactly? Well, let's talk about it. The actual Bitcoin price is behind that historical projection. Not by a ton, but the price today is only 9 weeks behind the pace to get to $115,000 by a certain point in the future. Buckle in. And really, you can see that here, basically saying that although it's kept up pretty well, we're still a little behind. So is anybody else worried how life would drastically change if even just half of Plan B's Bitcoin projection is fulfilled? It is a scary, exciting future. And lastly, with Bitcoin, before we move on to Ethereum, more proof. We can see what's going on-chain data. The general public has no idea that we can see this. But another big Coinbase outflow a few hours ago. Institutional investors are buying. The proof is there, guys. The proof is there. Hey, before we go any further, before we talk about Ethereum, trust me, the Ethereum stuff you do not want to miss. Let's take a little bit of time. Thank our sponsors, support our sponsors who support us. If you have Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, a variety of stablecoins that are just sitting around and you want to earn up to 8.6% interest, BlockFi is legit, one of the most legit companies in the space to do this. They offer traditional banking services for the crypto community. You can get $250 in free crypto by using our referral link below. Just a deposit of $25 or more is required. And by the way, no minimum is required to earn interest. They are very transparent. They are very legit. I like them a lot. You're able to buy crypto with cash. You earn interest, obviously. They offer crypto-backed loans, trading. They are supported and backed by some of the biggest names in the space. Winklevoss, Galaxy, Morgan Creek, Coinbase. Yeah, Anthony Pompliano is on the board. So use the link below, guys. Seriously, if you have Bitcoin, if you have Litecoin, Ethereum, just sitting around, why not take a portion of it and earn up to 8.6% back? If you're wondering if the company is legit, by far one of the most legit companies in the space. So use the referral link below. Now back to Ethereum. Let's talk about Ethereum, because I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist, obviously. Well, Do I think that the name of the game is to, over a long-term time frame, to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible? Yeah, I do. I think Bitcoin has possibly decades of upside ahead of it. But in between now and decades, in such a nascent space, I think there's plenty of opportunity for altcoin gains as well. One of the most clear-cut examples of this, in my opinion, is Ethereum. Let's talk about it. Bitcoin crossed all-time highs last week, yet Ethereum is still sitting 50% below its previous all-time high. If that's got you down, I got you covered. Here's 10 Ethereum charts that have already hit all-time highs in 2020. This guy could write for BuzzFeed. Utilization rate. This is arguably one of the most fundamental metrics. It translates to demand for block space and whether or not people are willing to use the ledger as a settlement layer. Good thing Ethereum is maxed out. Too much demand to use the network. Hash rate. Despite the upcoming transition to proof of stake, Ethereum's hash rate is hitting new highs. As far as this metric is concerned, this means that the network is as secure as it has ever been. ETH open interest. Open interest is the amount of total outstanding options, and this number is approaching 1 billion. DeFi users continues to go parabolic. People continue to be interested in locking up some of their coins and trying to earn a yield. And if Ethereum and DeFi are still a mystery to you, why would anybody do this when you can just buy Bitcoin? It's because everybody is chasing astronomical yields. In a world in traditional finance where interest rates are zero or negative zero, astronomical yields are very appealing to people. And the thing is, you don't need everybody in the world to get into Ethereum and DeFi for all these metrics to go up, because this is a nascent space. DEX volume, specifically decentralized exchanges that are built, on the Ethereum protocol, like Uniswap, Curve, Balancer, their volumes were outrageous this year. They're still pretty high. Bitcoin on Ethereum, there's now over 3.3 billion circulating Bitcoin on Ethereum, representing 0.67% of all Bitcoin in existence. The yields on ETH are just too good to resist, according to this author. ETH in Grayscale. Grayscale is becoming a black hole for crypto assets. They have grown their ETH position to 2.3% of the supply, or actually over 2.5 million ETH. Stablecoins on Ethereum are huge when parabolic. ETH in deposit contracts. This last one's kind of a cheat because this number can only go up, but ETH has reached unicorn status as 1 billion has been deposited into ETH2, roughly 1.5% of all ETH. This is the takeaway, my friends. There is no shortage of ways to cut it. Ethereum, by on-chain metrics, by ecosystem, by perception, is growing. It's only a matter of time before we're celebrating all-time highs too. Do I believe that? Yeah, not even from a fundamental level. I mean, obviously we can recognize that on-chain metrics and the ecosystem is growing, but just from the simple fact that all cryptocurrency companies have decided to promote it, Raoul Pal on Real Vision decides to promote it, PayPal decides to list it, they have 340 million users. In my opinion, there's no way that Ethereum does not break all-time highs. So there you have it, my friends. The beauty of this channel is we'll talk about the whole market. We'll explore all possibilities. We have Bitcoiners tuning in, Bitcoin only. We have Ethereans tuning in. We have altcoiners tuning in, and everybody in between. And that's what I like about this channel. We don't want to get dogmatic in our views. We want to continue to learn. We want to understand why Bitcoin is so fundamentally valuable, but continue to basically see what's going on in the space. It's so nascent, and honestly, nobody knows the future. And, the trends, they are changing, guys. The trends, they are changing. I remember in 2018 and 2019, perhaps the altcoiners' voices were the loudest. And also during this time, I felt like, guys are really missing out on what's going to happen with Bitcoin. And so I was, preaching Bitcoin, forever, and still continue to do that. That's what I want to do. But I see the trends changing, and right now the Bitcoin maximalist voices are the loudest. And I just have to say, I think that, well, you guys heard my thoughts. Let me know what you think down below. I think 2021 is going to be great.